Hello, and welcome back to another episode of the Strong Collectors Podcast. Today, we're playing The Price is Right because a lot of people in the Facebook groups and online have been talking about how the price is wrong with Marvel Legends, and Jordan and I actually disagree. We think the price is right on this. So, we're talking here about Blob and the new X-Men 3-packs. A lot of people think it's too high, and I don't know. I'm surprised that they have that opinion. I mean, like, maybe if you're just like, oh, it's too high, but like, how did you expect anything lower is kind of where I'm at with
Right.
this.
Well, what we talked about on that leaks, right? They hadn't, or not
Mm-hmm.
leaks, the reveals. They hadn't
Yeah.
said the price, right, when
Right.
they announced it, and we were speculating.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I said I was expecting. I say? I think I said I'll be merciful and say 60, and
Yeah,
be
you did.
optimistic because I thought maybe it'd be more, but
Yeah.
it was under 60. So I would have lost my prices right guess there.
Exactly.
But
So,
yeah, we can get into that.
yeah, no, that's exactly what we're talking about because I think we, like you said, we definitely pegged Blob a little bit higher, and I'm pretty sure we said that the 3-pack we were expecting 70 something, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like 75 at least.
Yeah.
Because that's, I mean, I guess I could see people being like, oh, it's a little too expensive because I'm looking here at the Daredevil 3-pack. It costs $74.99 and the X-Men
Mm-hmm.
cost $77.99. Okay, I guess that's, I mean, it obviously is more, so I could see where you're upset. Looks
You,
like
you,
we've got,
so that's
I mean,
landing you like
there's,
25 a figure, right?
yeah,
It's,
essentially. Plus, yeah, pretty much
I mean,
plus $3,
that just
not even.
doesn't strike me as crazy.
No, I
Like,
agree.
I mean, we've kind of passed the threshold, quote Kang, of, of $20 as the mark.
Exactly.
Do we really think for a multi-pack that people want, we're going to go down back to 20 per figure and get it for $60?
No.
That,
I mean, and I guess maybe that's the thing is it's just like this like incremental like it's only going from 74 to 77. It's not a huge jump, but like now that we've gotten to 77, they're not going to go back down to 74. So I could see maybe that's where some of the upset is coming from. But I think especially with Blob, I'm so surprised because we just looked before we got on here and I mean, we talked when this was announced that I've sold 2 Blobs for, I believe the first one I sold for 250, and then I think the second one I sold for 235,
yeah.
which like is insane to me that people were paying that for that Blob. Like it was a fine figure, but not nearly as articulated as this new one. But
Mm-hmm.
it was like the only one. Like if you wanted a Brotherhood, then that's your option.
Yeah.
This new one looks like it's gonna be better articulated. It's got different details on it. Like the other one was a lot more like they said, like cellulite-y blob. This one's got a better head articulation. It's got multiple heads, multiple
Mm-hmm.
hands. The other one had like it had like posable hands, but it was kind of like they were never going to turn into
Yeah.
a fist. It was like
Yeah.
just going to be like your straight fingers coming down. So it's
This one has fists, right? And
exactly
yeah.
fists and open hands.
For what are we
Kind
at?
of a
55.99.
yep,
Yeah.
$55.99. So you're getting that for $200 less than what I sold my first one for. Which is, I understand that's not like the value of it currently. Currently, I think it's going from about 100 to 125 ish, 30. I think it's going to keep going down as we get closer to this Blob being released.
Yeah.
Because you are still going to have to wait. I mean, this one is coming out April 30th, so I guess that's actually a lot sooner than I thought.
Yeah.
And the way Marvel Legends have been just
You'll have
sending you
it. You'll
things,
have it next week.
that's kind of what I was thinking. They're always like several months early, so
Yeah.
yeah, I don't
Well,
know.
yeah. What I would say to that, it's if I really wanted a Blob, and I was like, you know what, I don't want to pay. I don't. I would, even if I wanted Blob and needed him, I don't think I would have paid 200 for him. But I would gladly be like, oh, $60 or fifty
Hmm.
five ninety nine, like that. That is almost like the Hasbro can't win thing,
Right.
where if they're releasing it significantly less than what the aftermarket is,
Hmm.
like I don't know what people were expecting. Like I saw someone
It's
say something like it should be like 35 like Rhino, and I was like, Come on, man. Like,
No,
when
it
would
would
you?
not fit in that card. Like, there's no way.
Yeah.
Like, unless you wanted a small blob. But like, I think this one
Keto
seems
blob?
pretty hefty. So, and
Yeah.
that's it costs the exact same as what Mojo cost, which I'm
Yeah.
like, maybe it's not going to be quite as big as Mojo, but it's not gonna have like the soft belly. It's gonna have like full plastic.
I mean,
So
yeah. It's like you're buying essentially just a fully built Build-A-Figure, right? Which
right,
Build-A-Figures, probably the average market. I mean, for if you average all Build-A-Figures, that's pretty on point for what you would pay
yeah, I
for
would say
just
it's
a
even pretty
Build-A-Figure.
low for most Build-A-Figures.
Yeah, like
I mean,
if you,
some are less, like you said, but like 50 is kind of like a cheap Build-A-Figure.
yeah, exactly. So to pay a couple bucks more for a figure that people have been wanting for a while, that used to be $200 to $250, you just couldn't. You literally probably could not make that figure the same quality for cheaper. Like if you dove down to $30, I don't think people would want that blob. And then they'd be saying it's too cheap and it's poorly made, whatever.
Yep.
Like, I don't know. That is one point where I know we kind of will have grievances about things, sometimes about prices, but this is one that yeah, I agree with you. I don't really get the backlash that we've heard.
Yeah, and I guess we don't have it in hand yet, so it's not like we can be like, no, this is like great quality for this
Right.
price. I guess we could get it, and it could be like super cheap, flimsy material for a build or like a Build-A-Figure type character. I guess I don't know. Maybe I'm just giving Hasbro the benefit of the doubt here, but like with MODOK costing $52.99, Mojo costing $55.99, this is right on par with like the slight
That's how much
increase.
MODOK was?
MODOK was $52.99,
Wow. I mean,
which
and
I
that's
don't.
the other thing with this blob. Like, just wait around. You'll probably get one.
Yeah,
Because it's not exclusive, right?
no, I don't think so. I think this is available everywhere. Maybe
Yeah.
leave a comment down below. Tell us if this is available everywhere. I'm pretty sure it is.
I know it's not like a Pulse exclusive,
No,
so it's not like you can't find it for cheap or won't
right.
be able to.
Yeah,
'Cause
exactly. And that's the thing
that's
is
what
like
gets yeah.
MODOK was $52.99, but I don't think too many people paid $52.99. Like I'm pretty sure. Do you have one?
Yeah,
Yeah. Oh, there he is. I'm pretty sure we both probably got
I
him
got
for like.
him for like 25, I think.
That's what I was gonna say. I'm pretty sure that's what I got mine for too.
But like even retail at like Target, he went down to like 30 pretty fast in
Right.
GameStop and stuff. So
Yep.
I don't know, maybe Blob that would probably be more in demand, but
I think so. Yeah.
either way
Because
though.
he's. Yeah. Yeah. I think if you pay full retail for this one, I don't think you're getting ripped off. When you find a sale, like if you get it with a red card, 5% off. If you get it with a buy one get one type deal,
This episode brought to you by Target.
that would be nice. I'll take that deal. But yeah, it's just
kidding.
like
Yeah.
it's kind of like most Marvel Legends are going to go on sale, or there's going to be somewhere where like, and that's like GameStop and Target are always doing deals.
Or somebody buys it and they're just like, yeah, change my mind. Or
Right.
like bills came up, I gotta sell. So, and yeah, like you said, I guess we are assuming that it's not going to be a cheap piece of crap, which maybe some
you know,
people will say, "Oh,
who
you
knows?
should assume that," but I don't know. I've been pretty happy. I mean, with some of the stuff I've gotten lately, um, I don't know. I think it's cool that they're really helping out fans, I think, who want the Blob.
Oh yeah,
Because it's like,
for sure,
yeah, nobody wants to pay $200 for a,
exactly.
what did you
Because
say, 2007 is what we were researching?
yeah,
Is
15 years old. So, and that's the thing too is like, would you have been happier getting the Blob now or getting him like if they had put out like if we've already gotten a pretty new Pyro, we got a new Avalanche now. Toad just came out. If they had put out like a Destiny or something like that, where it's like, or a Mastermind, where it's like we've got the whole team except for Blob, You got to go out and get that $250 one. Instead, they're like, this one's a little bit, I think Blob is more popular than Destiny and Mastermind for sure.
Yeah.
So like put him out, and then maybe they'll round out the team in a year or two. I think that's a lot better than like not putting him out and then making people pay that aftermarket price.
Blob and those other two figures for less than what you would have paid for one Blob.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
So it's like, I don't know. I mean, if that old Blob was like impeccable and like, you know, the greatest Blob figure ever made, maybe that'd be something that people are like, oh, you know, does it compare? But like, having seen yours, it was fine.
Yeah.
But this new one looks like it has a lot of cool stuff to it that I think is going to make it worth it.
Yeah, to that point, I mean, it's kind of like where, like, you've got your Toy Biz Galactus behind you. I think that one holds up pretty well. Like, you have the option to, like, I've got the HasLab up above, but for the price, it's kind of like, no, the old one, like, it fits. I don't think you can make that argument with this Blob. Like, if you already have the old Blob, then yeah, sure, that makes sense because you don't have to spend the $250 to get another one. But if you have none in your collection, this makes sense.
Yeah.
So that's we've kind of been like going off on the Blob here, but like what are your thoughts on the X-Men 3-packs?
Right. Well,
being both are $77.99.
So about 20, 25 and some change per figure. Like I said, it doesn't make sense to me that they would go back to saying, well, this is 60 bucks. Like, that would be a steal if they were 20 each.
Right.
Personally, I don't need that X-Men team. So it's hasn't maybe bothered me as much. If I was, like, dying for that team. But even then, like, the Venom Null 2-pack, that was...
Yeah.
Wasn't that the same? 77, I think, 99.
I believe so.
And that was two characters, which really, like, yes, you got those wings, but it wasn't like... You know what I'm saying?
I would be much happier paying for 3 figures for that price.
Yes, I don't remember a ton of people being upset about the price of that. Right. I remember at the time being like, oh, sweet, we're getting Null. You know, so it's like...
I mean, I will say, when you've got that X-Men team that, like, it seems like it's one that people, at least, like, older collectors that were kind of reading comics at that time are pretty excited about. Versus, so that's a 3-pack for $77.99 versus the Spider-Man 3-pack, which is $89.99. That one, I could understand if people are up. Yeah.
Is that Amazing Fantasy?
Or no, the movie. Toby, Andrew, and that one's $89.99.
That one, I think we talked about that, but that one I would get more of the critiques of that.
Right, because you're not really getting much more. I mean, you are getting like newly sculpted things, and like they're going to use these X-Men bodies for other X-Men, like kind of like like Cyclops, and it's kind of that new keyed in like wrist bracelet thing, whatever. But these Spider-Man only come with like 2 extra hands each, and that's a lot of money for just 3 figures.
Yeah.
So, like, I think if your argument was going to be, like, these X-Men versus the Spider-Man pack, be much more upset about the Spider-Man pack. Be like, $25 per figure for X-Men is pretty on par. Yeah.
Especially for the fact that it's, like, they're saying, oh, you want this team? Boom, boom. Like, round it out. You can just get it all.
Finished.
You don't have to wait 2 years for them to put Forge out in a single release. It's just, here it is. Yeah. If you want it, great. If not, then you probably don't care. But if you want it, to me, if I really wanted to finish a team and it was a 3-pack for $25 per figure, I think I'd be pretty happy.
Yeah, because I mean, we've got Wolverine is kind of coming out right now-ish. I haven't seen him in the States yet. I think maybe some people might have him, but I mean, I would assume they're going to be here by January. And the 3-packs are scheduled for April, which means they're probably going to be here before that. So like between January and like March, you're going to complete the entire team, which is very rare for Marvel Legends. So like, even if you're kind of like, I would, it's like you're almost paying like fast pass to get your whole thing finished.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Both of these things, I just don't understand the gripes.
Yeah.
I don't know if anybody's upset about the Outback Rogue being $24.99, which is normal price. I guess the only thing I am upset about there is Outback Rogue is the same price as somebody from a Build-A-Figure Wave, and she's only coming with one extra pair of hands.
Yeah.
So for that, I could be like, okay, why is Rogue cost the same as Herald Thor? Because if you're talking about like the amount of plastic in each package,
Yeah.
Rogue seems like a cheap ripoff.
Right.
To give me, doesn't even come with an extra head sculpt,
Mm-hmm.
just fisted hands and open hands, and that's it. So there, I could, if you want to be upset, be upset about that. But I don't know.
Yeah.
What do you think, Jordan? Are
No,
collectors just being a bunch of whiny babies?
Well, I don't know, man. I think we've seen, obviously, prices of things are going up. I know we've talked about the rate at which Legends. I even saw you commenting. Somebody had said something about you used to get a base in a comic for $20, but you were like, well, it used to be $10, But
Right.
so yeah, like I think overall, in the grand scheme of things, going from that in the past 20 years, almost I don't know, 2.5 or right. I mean that's 200.
Yeah.
That's a
Yeah.
lot.
I mean, I
That's a
think
lot
maybe
of
they
increase.
started out at like maybe $11.99 at the very beginning, like wave one.
Yeah.
But yeah, then so Hasbro can't really say that it's inflation that's causing that because it's not. Like it's part of it, but like if it was inflation, we would have gone from like $11.99 to like we would now be paying probably still under 20.
Right.
But that's also comparing it to like Toy Biz, who like no longer has Marvel Legends, so it probably wasn't a viable price for what they were giving you.
Yeah,
We
that's the
loved
thing
it.
that people don't talk about is
Mm-hmm.
sure you could get it for that, but the company just I don't know. Maybe we could do like a dissect the death of Toy Biz episode sometime. Like a Toy
Yeah.
Biz autopsy. Like what happened to the Toy Biz
There you
Marvel
go.
Legends? Because yeah,
I
like we
like it.
said, they were just cranking them out, but
Mm-hmm.
they probably realized like, oh man, we can't do this
Yeah.
forever.
Very true.
So I don't know, man. I think the technology. I mean, we're seeing more of the pinless. We're seeing a lot of. They talk
Mm-hmm.
a lot about the photoreal head sculpts, which I think look cool.
Yeah.
I think we're getting more kind of not obscure, but more things that I'm like, oh, I didn't know we'd see that. So that's cool.
Yeah.
Like an
I mean, we're
Amazing
getting
Friends
like
3-pack is cool to see.
yeah.
I think I wouldn't have planned or thought they'd make that, but
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I think people. It's almost like you have this standard,
Mm-hmm.
but it's like, what is that standard? And then it's like, I don't know. You're like, do you just think all Legends should be? I mean, it's kind of like what we talk about when people say, I want this for a reasonable price. It's like, well, what's reasonable? Like,
Right.
I almost would rather say, like, instead of wanting things for a reasonable price, be like realistic prices. Like, is
True.
this worth that? And I
Mm-hmm.
think a lot of these things that people are upset about, at least right now, don't seem, at least with these three that we're talking about, seem very realistic for them to be.
Right.
To suddenly go back to each figure's 20 and a deluxe is 30. Like,
Yeah, and it's not like you could have a sliding scale either, because that's going to be way too complicated. Because like, sure, Rogue, I don't think should cost $25.99 or $24.99, whatever it is. But it's not like you could be like, oh, this is Rogue. She's only got one pair of extra hands, so she's going to be $22.99.
right.
And like this Thor and the Build-A-Figure Wave
More
is going to
people
be
want them. Yeah.
right. Which like
Yeah,
I don't
that
know,
would
maybe
be
they
a
would sell more
nightmare.
product, but like yeah, I'm sure the workers at Target would just be so confused.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. I don't think
I
neither one of
felt,
us are going to be rushing out to get these. So I guess maybe we kind of have a little bit of a leg up, being like, oh, you guys are crying about prices, even though we're not
Yeah.
going to pay these prices.
well,
So
I think I just know, even, I don't know, man. I think you and I, unless we've talked about this too, if something's, unless it's like an exclusive, very rarely am I going to spring for paying full price retail for something because I know it'll be
right,
cheaper eventually.
Yeah.
Like
I mean, I literally
even
sent Jordan a text. I said, if I ever consider buying a McFarlane or a Marvel Legend that's not an exclusive, to drive up to Wisconsin and beat the shit out of me, because it's just not worth it. Like, it's going to
yeah.
go on sale at some point,
Well,
or you're going
it's
to find it in the groups.
yeah. And I mean, we just saw like almost everything we had pre-ordered, even stuff that I got for myself that I was like, there's no way this is going to get cheaper.
Hmm.
Over Black Friday, remember they had all those like almost like
Thor
everything
was
was like
12.
20, yeah. Yeah, I saw on GameStop it was like Thor was 12, the Scarlet
Hmm.
Witch Retro was 10, White Vision was 10. I don't need them right anymore, but if
Hmm.
I did, I
Because you already paid full price for them.
right,
Well,
and
we
the
actually got them
Hasbro,
on a little bit of a discount, but yeah.
yeah, but even on Pulse, like you could get the Venom Null Pack for cheap,
Hmm.
the Renew Your Vows for cheap, well not cheap, but cheaper. I
Right.
mean, so really, it's a matter of you're paying for, do you want to wait a couple months or do you want it
Right.
immediately? And it's like that with anything. It's like that with the movie theater,
Hmm.
right? If you want to see the movie right away, you're going to have to pay probably $10 to $15 per
Yeah.
person. Or
Hmm.
you can wait a couple months and get it for $4 and have everybody see it.
Right.
But you're just paying for the convenience, like you said, the fast pass model, the convenience
Hmm.
of getting it now.
Right.
So I mean, it's like that with fast food. You pay, or like going to a restaurant, you pay because you want it quicker. You don't want to do
Now.
it yourself.
Yeah.
So I think the whole notion of, like, I don't really feel bad about the prices just because I know if I want something, like you said, unless it's an exclusive or
Hmm.
some anomaly, you're probably going to be able to find it for less later.
Which, and even with those exclusives, a lot of those, when we're talking about like Marvel Legends and McFarlane's, those are going to end up going cheaper eventually. Like, maybe not cheaper than retail,
Yeah,
because like I think about like the exclusive Retro Venom.
right.
That one, like, right away was like, what was it, like up to 150 or something, maybe
Yeah, that one
at
got
least
real high
100 for
real
sure if it was
fast.
sealed. But then now that we've gotten several other Venoms, that's really chipped away at that price. And like, even though you can't get it from Pulse anymore, you can still probably find it in the groups
I've seen
loose.
several going for like 60 even. I mean,
Yeah.
it's
Is that
still
sealed
low.
or loose?
I've seen them loose,
Okay.
sealed, or loose for like 60.
Okay.
I think I've seen them missing parts for like missing a hand for 40. So it's like
Mm.
you don't even then, like, yes, you're paying a little more in that instance,
Mm-hmm.
but it's not like you have no chance to ever get it again.
Right. And you can always, like, I guess depends if you want to buy lots or not, but like, there's been several times where we're able to get like figures that we're looking for in a lot,
Hmm.
and then we sell the lot and we end up making money by keeping figures we want.
Right.
So that's just it all depends on, like you said, how soon do you want what you want, and like, you're gonna pay for that, like, have it fast or guarantee that you have it, because it could sell out. Like, I think we were expecting like Venom and Null and Renew Your Vows to sell out,
Hmm.
which they still haven't several months later, but you at least guaranteed that you got the figures that you wanted, which I don't like. There is some figures that, like, if it's an exclusive, I'm going to pre-order it from Pulse because, like, I like the Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends 3-pack. I thought
Yeah.
that was cool. I want to make sure I get it. I could probably find those figures later on down the road in the groups, but I'll
Yeah.
pay a little extra to get it now.
Well, there's something cool about, obviously you don't want to be the only kid that doesn't have the new toy. So
Right.
I get that,
Mm-hmm.
that sensation and wanting to say, well, I want it now because everyone's getting it now.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, if it's a figure that you're kind of on, like, I feel like there's not a lot of casual Blob fans, in my opinion. Like, I feel like
Yeah.
you're either gonna really want Blob or you're gonna be like, I don't care about Blob. Like,
Mm-hmm.
so if you really don't care that much, you probably be smarter to
Mm-hmm.
wait. But if you really want it, I still don't. This is also saying the original statement of, we don't think the Blob price is high,
Right.
or
Yeah.
too
Like, if
crazy.
you're super excited about Blob, like, get on there, pre-order Blob, and like, maybe you spend 10 more dollars than what it's going to go on sale for at Target, but like,
Yeah.
you'll get your Blob, and like, you're going to be excited opening that up and be like, oh, this is cool. Like, I think you're going to feel like you got your money's worth when you open it. And that's the thing too, is like, I can't remember, like we said, I can't remember if this is an exclusive. I don't think it is, but like order it from Target or whatever is close to you, GameStop or whatever. I like Target because then when I get it, and if it's like, oh, actually this figure sucks or it's broken or there's this thing wrong with it, I can just drive over to Target, exchange it or return it versus like Pulse where you don't really have that option.
Yeah, Pulse, you have to ship it back on your own dime.
Yeah, so that'll probably be another episode of
I was say I could make an episode. We could do an episode on the Pulse return policy because I don't love that, but
yeah,
that's
that
my
is
gripe right
a rip
now.
off. So yeah, I mean that's, I don't know. Do you have any other thoughts on these prices for either of these or really anything, Jordan?
Probably go on a long rant if I start again. I think I've kind of said what I need to say, so I'm gonna cut myself off.
I liked your fast food analogy. I thought that was pretty smart.
Thank you. I'm a decently smart guy. Let me know in the comments below if you think I'm smart.
New poll. Master's degree here, folks. New poll. There we go.
Is Jordan an idiot?
I was going to say leave us a comment if you think these prices are good or not, but I think I like your idea better. Leave us a comment if you think
stupid.
Did we actually waste our monies on master's degrees or
are we
smart
toy geniuses? No, that's good, man. I think this is a good it's a good thing to kind of, because you get like in those echo chamber of like like we said, the prices are right in your head, but it's like, what does that actually look like? So
right.
And I think a lot of the time it's just online, it's so easy to just bash something and say, oh, this is dumb, this is stupid. But it's like, really, if you think about it, is it that crazy? Because I don't think it is. So, no. But I did notice that on that stream. Did you notice that Pulse, they had the comments turned off?
Oh, did they?
Remember? Because usually there's the live feed.
Yeah,
and the comments
and it just
were
like
off.
Scrolls super fast. Yeah.
So do you think they were like, because you see some pretty, I mean, that would, not to say it's like, oh, it hurt their feelings, but most of those comments are like trash, fire, garbage, like dumpster fire. Yeah, and it's like, okay, then
why are you here?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, what would they, like, what would they put out that they would be like, oh, yes, this is it, finally?
Right. Yeah. Like we can complain to each other, but we don't go online and just be like,
I'm not going to, tag Dan in my, post of that ripping him off. Yeah, no. It's just like, no, I agree. And that probably is part of the reason they shut off, which I kind of wonder about that, like, does that hurt your, analytics and the algorithm of, because during a live stream, they're getting probably, hundreds of thousands of, maybe not hundreds of thousands, but, hundreds to thousands of comments. I would think that would boost you up in the algorithm, but maybe they're just like, oh, we don't care. We don't want the main comments making our figures look bad.
Because there's almost that thing of, even if someone is on the fence, if they see the whole group in the chat is saying, this is ridiculous, this is overpriced, this sucks, then you might be like, maybe it does suck. That might be how it affects your... It's like having negative early reviews for a movie where you're just like, maybe I'll wait on that.
Yeah, so, I guess the opposite of that, I have watched, when I'm on the fence of, do I want to get this figure or not, I'll watch, a reviewer, and if it's good, then I'm like, oh, okay, I'll go get that.
But it's almost like people are reviewing it before it's even out and saying, this is crap. And you have no idea.
Yeah, so. And that's kind of what I, I've seen several posts, people, saying, oh, it's not worth it and whatever. But that's kind of what I was like, oh, we'll do this podcast episode because then I can actually talk. I'm not going to, leave a comment on this, one of 50 threads where it's like, oh, the prices or whatever. It's like,
right.
Now I'm just going to link them to this video and they can watch us talk for 30 minutes.
There you
go. Then they'll know my opinion.
And they'll know your opinion.
And if they want to put their opinion out there.
You've got your master's degree.
Exactly. All right, Jordan. Anything else?
Nope. I'm going to go on another rant if I start again, so we'll call it there.
All right. Make sure you're liking, sharing, and subscribing. I think as we record this, we are 2 subscribers away from 300. So push us over the edge. And until next time, stay strong.